everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, this is a new lesson series that I've put together. This is a 4-part series, and I'm going to show you how to play everything that we heard in the intro there, both the rhythm and the lead parts for that. And so I'm going to break that across 4 parts, as I mentioned. This is going to be part 1 of 4. And make sure you go to www.activemelody.com to download the tablature and the jam tracks. All of that's going to be available for this lesson, so you'll have all the lesson materials that you'll need to be able to learn this. So let's go ahead and take a look at part 1 of 4. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. One thing to point out, I have changed the camera angle a little bit. I decided to show sort of full frame. Usually I'd sort of do a tight shot on the guitar, but I've had some people complaining that, and they're saying that it's, especially people in foreign countries, that they can't see what I'm saying, and so that confuses people. So I thought that with high def that you can probably see clear enough if I just show everything. So anyway, that's going to be a little different. I'm going to go ahead and play everything that, that we're going to learn in this lesson. This is the first part of the solo. I'm breaking the solo across 3 parts. And then the 4th part in this series will be how to play the rhythm guitar. So here's what we're going to learn in this lesson without accompaniment. And so we'll break that down note for note. And the first thing that happens is this little thing that goes. I have no idea where that came from. It's kind of corny when I analyze it, but a little bit of a country flair, and I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. So it sort of came out when I was. And by the way, just so you know the context, I make these solos up. So I record the jam tracks, just an idea of kind of a simple, they're usually very simple concepts, something that your ear can sort of easily follow. And then I make up a solo, and I try and make it up in parts, you know, so that I can teach them and break them down. And that's not always easy to do, because when you solo, you just want to sort of free form and make it up. And so anyway, so this was the first thing that came to my mind, is something that a way that I would approach this. Now, one thing to point out, with my right hand, I'm playing with my middle finger and my ring finger. I'm grabbing strings 2 and 3 with the right hand, and then with the left hand, I'm fretting this here. My pointer finger is on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and my middle finger is on the 4th fret, 3rd string. So those two strings are being played, and I'm plucking like this. So when I play it, I go. And by the way, I'm sliding everything up 2 frets. Everything goes up 2 frets. So we go. Again, watch the right hand. Now you don't have to pluck that with your right hand. You could use the pick. You could just do it like this. It's whatever's more comfortable. The only reason I like to do it with this hand is I feel like I have a little more control. I can start and stop the sound a little better. Here it's more precise versus it sounds a little more sluggish with a pick. Just a preference thing. There's no right answer here. So either way you can do that. The important thing is make sure you're only playing strings 2 and 3 when you do that. So that's the first part of the solo. And again, you're just sliding with the left hand. You're sliding everything up 2 frets so that the fret you end on, your pointer finger is on the 5th fret, 2nd string, and your middle finger is on the 6th fret, 3rd string. Okay? And then after that, I went. And again, this is a country thing. It's sort of a pedal steel sounding lick. What I'm doing there is I'm pushing down the first 2 strings on the 5th fret, so strings 1 and 2. Make sure that, and notice when I play this little part, and I'm doing that with my pointer finger, this sort of stays down the whole time. This doesn't come up. And so, Okay, so I'll deal with the right hand in just a minute, but let me show you what the left hand is doing first, and then we'll get to the right hand. So with the left hand, this stays barred, strings 1 and 2 on the 5th fret, and then I go, so I play that, and then I go, and what I'm doing there is I'm keeping that bar, but I'm putting my ring finger down on the 7th fret, 2nd string. Now you could use your middle finger for that, but for me it's easier to use my ring finger for that. So, and I kind of hammer it on. I don't just let it lay down. I sort of, you don't have to hammer it on, but I think that hammer sort of gives it a, it kind of brings that pedal steel sound out, at least in my ear. Then I let it go so that I'm just on strings 1 and 2. And now we're down to the 6th fret, 3rd string, and I play that with my middle finger. So let's back up. So we got. Now, let me show you what I'm doing with my right hand. Remember how the first part where we did, remember how I was using my middle finger and ring finger? I do that again. This time, I'm plucking strings 1 and 2. Notice my pick is like off the, it's not even touching anything. Except for that part. So when I do the 6th fret, 3rd string, that's where the pick comes in. Okay? So that's the first point that I actually put the pick to the string when I'm doing this. And this is what they call hybrid picking. And so remember when you're holding your pick, that you hold it between your thumb and your pointer finger. A lot of people make the mistake of holding their pick like this, and you know, I think you're going to run into trouble with that. So I've heard the explanation is like it's the way that you would hold a key, and that's pretty accurate. So anyway, thumb and pointer finger. So that's what we have so far. Now we're going to go. And all that I'm doing for that part, again, this never leaves, so that bar stays down on the first 2 strings of the 5th fret. But I go, I come back to the 7th fret, and I slide up to the 8th fret on the 2nd string, back to the 7th fret, and then let go. So it's like this. So in context, it sounds like this. So that happens with me only picking it once or plucking it once with my middle finger and ring finger. Then I pluck it again, and then hammer on again to the 7th fret, 2nd string. Okay, so it's actually kind of hard to do slow. Now I know there's going to be people that rip me for not using my pinky, and this is always, I get in more trouble on YouTube with people complaining about me not using my pinky. I don't know what that is. I'm just not a pinky user. There's probably a more proper way to play it. To use your pinky for that 8th fret bit, but for me it's easier just to slide up with my ring finger to the 8th fret and then back. I feel like I have more control. My pinky's just not, I don't know, it doesn't work very well or something. I have more control that way. So, okay. And then you close it out with another hammer onto the 7th fret. So let's back up, and I'm going to play everything that we've learned thus far. I'll play it slowly. So here we go. Let me do it again. I'll do it a little slower. Okay. Okay, now we the next thing that happens is I play that little slide part again. And that sort of just defines the that part of the verse. I guess I'm thinking of it as a vocal, and maybe that's how you would approach, it's a familiar thing, you've already heard it once, and I don't know, there's some logic that goes on somewhere in my brain when I come up with these things. But now we repeat it again. Now this is where you get into this fun lick that goes, and that's a cream lick. That's like right out of, in fact, I got the right guitar for it, but that's like right out of the Clapton Cream era, which is, by the way, you're going to hear a lot of that in my playing, period, just because I just, to me, that's as good as it gets. That's as pure of playing as you can find. That's just my opinion. I know there's lots of great artists, but to me, Eric Clapton's phrasing, it's just the best. And so I'm always trying to break it down scientifically, like how he does it. And the thing that I like about his playing, I'm sorry I'm digressing here, but the thing I like about his playing so much is that the timing of it is just so perfect. How he wraps up a phrase, and even though he's improvising, he's able to time it as if he really planned it out and made it methodical. And it's taken me years and years and years and years of listening and trying to do that, and I'm still not even, still don't even come close. So anyway, so this little, that's a cream thing. So here's what that, let's break that down. So that is played with a pick, so that we're kind of past the plucking thing now. And what I'm doing there is I'm on the 5th fret, 1st string, and I do play that twice, and that's just a down-up stroke. Then I go, okay, and what I'm doing for that is I'm notice the fingers I'm using. I'm using my pointer finger and I'm using my ring finger for this bend. Now, where we're at, as a reference, we're in the A minor pentatonic scale, because this little thing is in the key of A. And so right now, everything that we're playing, all these licks, are right out of the A minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so let me slow that down. There's the first two. Then you come up here to the 8th fret, 2nd string, and I use my ring finger for that. Notice I put my middle finger down on the same string just behind that. And the reason I do that is when I'm doing that bend, I'm actually bending with 2 fingers instead of 1. So a lot of people, when they're just learning to bend strings, they think that you have to do it with the finger that you're bending from and to, but that's not the case. Take advantage of your other finger. It's not doing anything anyway. And it's a lot easier to bend with 2 fingers. And then we come back to the 1st fret, the 5th fret, 1st string. So that's the first thing you're going to learn is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice when I'm doing the bend, I'm doing a full bend, and when we do a full bend, that's bending, we're going up 2 frets. So that's the note I'm trying to match. If you did a half bend, you'd go up 1. But we're doing a full, which is also, so it's this note, but it also happens to be this note. See? Same note. So you get this when you do it fast. Your ear hears this kind of weird, I don't know, it takes your ear to a weird place when you hear a bent note that matches another note. And that's something that happens a lot in electric blues. Now we're going to come back to the 8th fret, 2nd string. And then we're going to come back to the 5th fret, 2nd string. And so here it is slowly. Okay, now I'm going to come down to the 7th fret, 7th fret, 3rd string. And then I'm going to come back to the 5th fret, 2nd string. So altogether I have. Let's do it even slower. Now notice what's going on with the right hand. It's alternate picking, and by alternate picking I mean down, up, down, up, down, up. And so okay, and so this next part goes. Now, here's what that sounds like if we break it down slowly. So we're on the 7th fret, 3rd string, and we're going to go. We're going to do a full bend. And then we're going to release that bend, keeping our fingers in place, and then we're going to go. Notice what I'm doing there. I'm picking that once on the 7th fret, 3rd string, doing a pull off, then doing a hammer on to the 7th fret, 4th string. And that's what it sounds like up to tempo. And it sounds really hard and difficult and fast, but it's really not that hard. Don't try and do it up to speed at first. Try and do it like this. All right, so let's back it up and play everything that we've learned thus far in this part of the solo. I'll play it slowly. Okay, so when we go, once we hammer on to the 7th fret, 4th string, what you're going to do is you're going to take that finger and you're going to kind of lay it down almost like you're barring. My fingers aren't kind of, some people have that double jointed thing going on. Mine don't do that. So I just sort of lay it down really quickly. The only string I'm trying to play is the 3rd string on the 7th fret. That one. So I play. So here's what I mean by that. See? Okay, and then after we play that 7th fret, 3rd string, we're going to go to the 5th fret, 3rd string, 7th fret, 4th string, 5th fret, 4th string, and then back to the 7th fret, 4th string. And so all together, that last part goes. Where you're going to have a hard time with that is that, I think. That's the part that I remember doing that. Going from one string to the next string on the same fret can be challenging in the beginning, but you'll get it within 10 minutes of just once you figure out the fingering. And some of you will have a double jointed thing where this finger will sort of bend and that'll be easier, and a lot of you will be like me and you have to work a little harder at it. But with just a simple bar, really, you can bounce between that 4th string and 3rd string on the 7th fret. All right, so let me back up and play that. Then I apply a little vibrato on the end of it, and up to tempo it's. All right, so then we come back to the old trusty slide thing there that we learned in the beginning. After I do that the 3rd time, then I go into this kind of Allman Brothers-y thing that goes. Now that's a lot of notes, but it's really not that hard because if you'll notice, most of those notes are going back and forth between the 5th fret and the 7th fret. And so, let's break that down. So the first thing that happens is this, and I love this lick, by the way. This is a fun one to do. You can do this well, in any song you're doing, whether it's a slow blues or a fast blues or a rockin' song. And all I'm doing, just to put it in context, remember we're in the key of A, and so everything we've been doing has been in the A minor pentatonic scale. So you know that if you're in the key of A, your root fret is the 5th fret here. And what I'm doing when I'm going is really I'm playing the major scale, so it's the major pentatonic scale. Those are some notes from that. And I have a lesson on this where there's a sweet spot where the minor pentatonic scale and the major pentatonic scale meet. You'll have to look through the lessons, but I think that's what's in the title. But that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just doing this major pentatonic thing when I go. See here how it feels kind of happy? It doesn't. The minor is always kind of bluesy. The major is kind of the happy. So. And I always think when I say Allman Brothers, I always think of them because I hear, I hear a lot of major pentatonic stuff that's kind of played fast in a lot of their stuff. So anyway, what I'm doing to create that is I'm barring the first 2 strings on the 5th fret, and I'm going. I'm playing the 2nd string, and I'm hammering onto the 7th fret, 2nd string. Then I'm playing that 5th fret 1st string, 5th fret 1st string. And I'm just doing it over and over again like this. Watch what the right hand is doing. It's just alternate picking. So if I were to do it without the left hand, I'm going. So I'm going down, or I'm sorry, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke, downstroke. 1st string, 2nd string. 1st string, 2nd string. So. So if you're playing something in the key of G, because that's your root fret, playing something in the key of B, so you can see how that kind of works. So whatever key you're in, you can always kind of work in it. And that's a fun lick. So Southern rock, it's got Southern rock written all over it. Skinner, Allman Brothers. So at the end of that, I just played it. I play it a bunch of times. I go. Then I play this thing. This is where you get into that challenging. And I do have the tab for that. That's one that with a tab that's a lot easier. But let me go ahead and show you note for note for those of you that don't have the tab or don't have access to it. Here's how you do it. I'm starting here on the 8th fret 1st string. And again, we're just in that minor pentatonic scale, but 8th fret 1st string, and I'm going to come play that, then I'm going to come down to the 5th fret 1st string. Then I'm going to play 5th fret 2nd string. So really what I'm doing is I'm playing that 8th fret on the 1st string, and then I'm just barring the first 2 strings on the 5th fret. Just like that. And when I play the 8th fret, I give it a little bit of a bend. It's slight. It's not a full bend. It's not even a half bend. It's just enough to make it sound like it's slightly sharp. Then I come down and I keep that bar, in fact, and I take my ring finger and play the 7th fret 3rd string. And then I come back, since this bar was still here, and I play the 5th fret 2nd string. So altogether we have. Now after that, I'm going to play. And what I'm doing there is very similar to what we did previously, that little thing. But what I'm doing is I'm going to pick it apart, pick each note apart. So there's not a hammer on or pull off. So I'm going to go full bend on the 7th fret, 3rd string. Play the 7th fret, 3rd string. Play the 5th fret, 3rd string. 7th fret, 4th string. Now here's where we do the little bar thing. We're going to jump up and play the 3rd string on the 7th fret. And while you got that barred, we're going to come back and play the 4th string on the 7th fret. So you're taking advantage of that, that little bar. Let's back that up. I'll play it up to tempo first, and then I'll play it slowly. So here's what it should sound like. Let me play it slowly. You can see that bar there. Let me do it again, and watch the bar when this goes down. I'll point it out. Here it is. You can see the bar went down, and I played 4, 3, 4. Now we come to the 5th fret, 3rd string, and back to the 7th fret, 4th string, and play those two. So you have okay. Okay, now we're going to come down and play the 5th fret, 4th string. And then we're going to play the 7th fret, 4th string. Okay, so we have. All right, let's back it up. That's what we have. Let me do it slowly. Now, after this, we're going to do the same thing we just did to a string higher. We're going to go ahead and bar again with the ring finger. So this time you're playing strings 5, 4, 5. So you go 5, 4, 5. And that's why you need to kind of bar that with the ring finger. So okay, and so then we close this lick out with. And what I'm doing there is I'm bouncing between the 5th fret and the 7th fret. So I'm on the 4th string, 5th fret, 4th string, 7th fret, 3rd string, 5th fret, back to the 4th string, 7th fret, 3rd string, 5th fret, 3rd string, 7th fret, then 3rd string, 5th fret, and that's where you do the vibrato. And that wraps up that little fast run there. So let's rewind. We'll do the whole thing slowly. Here it is again. Do it even slower. I'll do it even slower. Okay, let's do it even slower, just so you have a reference. Okay, so there is the first part of that solo. So let me go ahead and I'll play it again up to tempo, and I'll play the whole thing slowly. Here you go. Okay, so that's pretty close to the tempo. Now here it is slowly. All right, so that's what we have for part 1. Now, hopefully you've liked me on Facebook. If you haven't done so, go to facebook.com/ActiveMelody. I'm also on Twitter, and you can follow me there, twitter.com/ActiveMelody. Or the best thing you can do is just come join us at Active Melody. There's a forum, and there's lots of ways to interact. And as I mentioned earlier, for this lesson, you're going to look for EP018. That's the lesson number. And I'm going to put all 4 parts up on the same page, and you'll be able to download all of those assets, the tablature and jam track. So hopefully you've enjoyed this lesson. I'll see you in part 2.